After literally 10 years of watching car rebuilds on YouTube, 6 months ago I decided it would be a great idea to spend a bunch of money I didn't really have on a crash damaged car and actually finish it for once.
I just bought it.
I've started plenty of projects over the years only to leave them half finished when the next shiny thing comes along. But this time I was determined. The car was in rough shape when I got it, but with only 30,000 kilometers on the clock, I knew it had potential. And after a lot of effort, we finally made it to the last hurdle, the written off vehicle inspection. This is the final step before I can legally go back on the road. Today, I'm breaking down the full cost of the rebuild, how much I paid for the car, what I spent on parts, paint, registration, absolutely everything. Whether you're thinking about doing a rebuild yourself or you're just curious to what a project car like this really costs, you're watching Built, Not Bought. I woke up at a ridiculous time this morning to pick this thing up, but it did pass its written off vehicle inspection, which is great. 1 out of 4 cars fails the first time around. Now we're gonna go down to register it, and then we're gonna go over everything that this cost me and whether or not it was actually worth it as a complete beginner. But the car's not perfect, so let's have a chat about everything wrong with the car. So there are still a few things that need to be fixed with this, but for the most part, everything's all right and it's very drivable actually. There's really just 2 things that need to be fixed, one of which, I know it doesn't look too bad, but you can see just in there on the fender, there's a small chip. This fender was actually pushed inwards during the crash. When I joined the bumper to the fender here, the hole in the bumper to put the screw through was actually in the wrong place. So I did have to drill into this a little bit, but I think it's just still a little bit off. It needs to go just back, just a touch. The other thing is I've been driving this without aircon, and I'm in the Gold Coast in Australia, and when you're in stop-start traffic, as it often is here, with the sun coming down through the sunroof, it does get hot and I do sweat. All in all though, I've been really happy with how this thing's been driving. I mean, it's essentially a brand new car. I noticed in the used hood that I bought, there's a couple of dents in it, like it's very small divots. It's too dark to see, but there is a little bit of damage on the side skirt from where the car's been forklifted on and off the trailer, but there's not much I can do about that, and thankfully it's just underneath the car, so you can't actually see it. Now it's time to talk about what this thing actually costs to rebuild. All right, so, the question you've all been waiting for, how much did this thing cost me? Starting with all the parts and the services cost, the very first thing I paid for when I bought the car was transporting it home. That tow cost me $385. The next thing, and by far the most expensive thing I paid for, was the chassis rail straightening, and that cost me $2,226. Plus the transport to and from the body shop, which was another $240. The bonnet I bought, which was already white, thankfully, cost me $880. If you've been watching, you'll know I have an RS3 style bumper. I bought that unpainted, so it was gray, and I bought that for $959. And then I spent only $100 to paint the bumper myself because Josh from Spectrum Auto Refinishing actually let me use his paint booth. I had to pay for the paint, but that was it. And even then, I think I used more than $100 worth of paint. Next thing that was broken was the auxiliary radiator. Brand new, by the way, that would have been about 800 Australian, and used, I got it off an older model A3 for $172. Next was one of the headlight mounts, cost me $1980, and the full headlight repair kit that I bought to be able to repair the driver's side headlight because the mount had actually snapped off. This was actually kind of expensive. It was $196.90. I ended up using the JB Weld to put it back in place, and I mean, that would have been fine to begin with. I didn't need to buy this at all, so I could have saved myself about $200 there. But I bought it and I did use it. Next thing was the headlight washers. When I went to fit the bumper, I realized that one of them was snapped and the other one I snapped trying to get the cover off. So those together, those actually weren't too bad. Those cost me $121. The next thing I saved a bunch of money on was actually the seat belts. Now, keep in mind I needed 2 seat belts, both of the front ones. Both of them had locked up in the accident. So brand new, those seat belts were $600 each. After a lot of messaging around, I managed to find somebody who was gonna give me them for $100 each. I got these for $200. I saved $1,000 on those. Next thing was, because I bought that auxiliary radiator from an older A3, it did come with a radiator duct, but it wasn't the same one on the S3. So I did order this brand new from Audi, and it was $116. Then there was 2 sets of nuts and bolts. One cost $18, the other $71. The next thing after I put the whole car together was getting a roadworthy certificate, and that cost me $120. After that, I had to get a WOVI check or a QAS check on the car that cost me $484. That one was a bit steep, but when a car gets written off, that's essentially the check that makes sure that cars don't get rebirthed, so you have to do that. Then I spent $820 on registration and taxes for this car, giving the grand total of $7,128 spent on parts alone. So this definitely wasn't cheap. As for the cost of the car, I was bidding on this at auction, and I do think I overpaid a little bit, but that came to $20,224. I actually won it for $17,500, but plus all the auction fees, that's what it worked out to be, giving us a grand total of $27,352. Looking at the cheapest Audi S3 facelift that is on the market at the moment, it is $26,500 and it's got 140,000 Ks. But you've got to remember, this car only has 30,000 Ks on it. I bought it with 29,000. It ticked over when I had to drive it to the inspection. So if we put 40,000 Ks as a max and then hit search, the cheapest then becomes $43,000 with 33,200 Ks. Mine's got slightly less than that, 3,000 Ks less than that. Now, keeping in mind, this car is gonna have a repaired write-off title on it. I do think the value of the car would be around the mid-30s, given it's got such low Ks, and even if it's not, I've definitely made money on it either way. But making money on it wasn't my main concern. That's not why I did this. See, I bought this car for me. About 6 months ago, I was sitting there thinking, I need to do something. I just spent 6 hard months working out almost every day, well, 5 days a week, in the gym, and found out what hard work actually pays off. And I started to think, well, I can apply that to anything. I wanted to start making YouTube videos, and I kept making excuses after excuses after excuses. And ever since I was in high school, I've been watching people rebuild cars on YouTube. It's like I've idolized it and I've wanted to do it for so long. Wow. Okay. I remember watching this in high school. I don't know if you can see that, but this is Beers for Build building his Lotus Evora. That was 9 years ago, and ever since then, car rebuilds have taken over my For You page on YouTube. It's been insane. I wanted to give it a try, and I feel damn accomplished because I did it. So what's next? Well, my partner's watched me do this whole thing and seen that I've saved some money, and she wants to give it a shot too. So I'm not gonna say what car it is, but we are going to be buying another crash damaged car, and it will be soon. As soon as I find the right one, we're gonna be bidding on it. All right, now look. For me, this started 6 months ago. I was sitting on a balcony and I just thought to myself, do you know what? If I just commit to this thing and then do it, it'll actually be done. Like if I just throw myself in the deep end with something that I don't have enough money for, I'll be able to get it done if I try hard enough. And I remember sitting on that balcony, picturing it right at the end, and how good it would feel to have done something so hard that not many people have done. For whatever reason, this has been in my head for such a long time, and I feel extremely grateful to have gotten this done. And even though there's only a few of you guys watching, it means a lot to me that you are watching. You're watching built, not bought. Roll the clip. So I haven't been feeling great lately. I moved up to Queensland, 1,800 Ks away from my hometown. And, you know, I just started thinking, today I'm want to do something for myself. So I am going to buy a crash damage motorbike. I want an S1000RR, and I'm going to do it for me, and I'm going to rebuild it on YouTube so I can prove to myself that I can do something fun, and I don't care what it costs. I'm going to get it done and just prove to myself and do something for myself to make me feel good. I'm excited, and just remember, it'll all work out.